Hello and welcome to Toothless Tesla. I'm sure you are shocked by what you are seeing in this video. And that's the point, because I want to highlight why people are bad drivers, and generally bad drivers do not know that they are bad drivers. This video will help you identify bad drivers and will also give advice on how to become a good driver. The CCTV video we are watching shows the driver of a BMW iX3 running the red light and losing control of his car. The car mounts the pavement and crashes into a flimsy metal rail which appears to be mainly used for advertising. The metal rail has little impact on the car's momentum and the car careens into three unsuspecting pedestrians and amazingly misses several other pedestrians. We must commend the fire services team who are first to arrive and help. Because of this bad driver, one person died and two were injured. Miraculously, many others had a lucky escape. The driver reportedly said he was feeling unwell, but as you can see, he is still standing and walking around after the crash with no obvious symptoms of being unwell. He may have been genuinely unwell, but he may have also been using his phone or was so distracted that he put his foot on the accelerator and crashed onto the pavement. In any case, in such circumstances, his foot should have been on or hovering above the brake pedal. We must call out bad drivers. Hong Kong roads are dangerous places because there are so many bad drivers.
This is where the accident occurred. Oops. Let's go have a look. So it went down this way and caused a big accident. That and then the car hit this concrete.
I witness bad drivers every single time I drive in Hong Kong. What is a bad driver? I will give you my definition of a bad driver later in this video. Here is another example of bad drivers in Hong Kong that occurred in the early hours of New Year's Day. 3 people died, 4 were injured with 1 paralysed from the waist down, and a total of 6 vehicles were involved in this terrible high-speed crash. What were the factors and who were the bad drivers involved? First, this is a 70 km/h 3-lane highway. The black car in the fast lane is possibly speeding above 70 km/h. If this is found to be correct from the traffic investigation, then the deceased driver of the black car is or was a bad driver, and there were 4 passengers in his car, 2 of whom also died. Second, the taxi driver in the middle lane cuts right into the fast lane and does not appear to use indicators to signal his intention to other road users. The taxi driver is a bad driver, and this 65-year-old was arrested by the police after the crash. This was a horrific crash that caused needless deaths and injuries and emotional and psychological turmoil to those involved and to their families. The news report mentioned that of the 6 cars involved in the crash, 3 of them were parked on the roadside. If this is true, then investigations need to be made on why there were 3 parked cars on the highway. The drivers of these parked cars are probably bad drivers too, for parking on the highway for no good reason. This also needs to be called out and dealt with. It is illegal to park on highways. So, what are the signs of a bad driver? As I list out the 5 signs, please watch the black car in front of me weave about, slow down and then increase its speed. I already know that this black car is being driven by a bad driver. Now, like alcohol and drug addiction, the first step to tackling your problem is to identify and accept that you are a bad driver. Ask yourself, do you disrespect your own car? Such as, do you accelerate hard and then brake hard? And do you put your car at risk of bumps and collisions, such as tailgating? If yes, then you are a bad driver. Do you disrespect other road users? Such as, do you ever give way to pedestrians and other cars? And are you patient? If no, then you are a bad driver. Do you speed, cut lanes and run red lights? If yes, then you are a bad driver. Do you get easily distracted, such as using the phone, fiddling with something, or lose focus? If yes, then you are a bad driver. Do you get road rage? This is self-explanatory because when you become emotionally unstable, you will likely commit the first 4 signs on this list, and therefore you are a bad driver. Here is my own experience with identifying bad drivers. This black car weaving in front of me is obviously someone who is distracted. The black car fulfills sign number 4 as a bad driver. Here is an aggressive truck driver. The truck driver seems to be in a hurry and tailgates the silver fan, and later the truck will tailgate me. I am doing my best to stay close to the speed limit and to remain in the first 2 lanes. There are a few speed cameras on this stretch of road because many drivers speed and undertake on this notorious and deadly highway. The truck driver wants to speed, wants to undertake, and wants to get to his destination quickly on this Saturday lunchtime. Unfortunately for the truck driver, various factors force him to stay within the speed limit, and his aggressive driving style demonstrates that he is a bad driver. For example, there is a green bus that joins the highway and in doing so prevents the truck from speeding and undertaking me. This no doubt frustrates the truck driver. Up ahead, speed cameras and slow moving traffic in the left lane will further frustrate the truck driver. It will be 7 minutes since I first encountered the truck driver until he finally gets the chance to speed up, undertake me and other road users, and shoot off into the distance, thinking he has left us behind in his wake. Meanwhile, I just drive along at my usual relaxed way at close to the speed limit. And what do you know? After 10 minutes and about 10 kilometers later, I catch up with the crazy truck driver. The truck driver, in revving up his engine, tailgating, speeding and braking hard, has not benefited at all in reaching his destination any quicker than other road users travelling in the same direction. He is a bad driver because he fulfills signs 1, 2, 3 and 5 of my definition of bad drivers. If you fulfill just one of the 5 bad driver signs, then you are automatically a bad driver. The first 2 examples at the beginning of this video of drivers who caused so many deaths were obviously bad drivers. But we need to identify bad drivers before they cause fatal road accidents. These 5 signs are my way to help you identify bad drivers before they cause fatal road accidents. If you see a bad driver based on these signs, then keep your distance and do not become emotionally engaged with them. You can forget about defensive driving, which is a popular yet flawed tactic in learning to drive safely. Defensive driving is flawed because it doesn't tackle the real problem. We need to tackle the root cause of bad driving. The root cause of bad driving stems from driver anxiety and insecurity caused by being late or holding the perception of being late and not wanting to suffer the consequences of being late. all that anxiety, stress, and insecurity increases and your road rage builds up too. At the heart of it, why else would bad drivers break the rules? Therefore, always allow yourself ample time to arrive. That's it. This one tip will help you move away from being a bad driver. I'm not talking about basic driving incompetence here. It stands to reason that if you cannot confidently drive a car in the first place, then you do not deserve to be on the road until you have taken driver improvement lessons. I am addressing all the bad drivers out there who cannot pass the 5 signs of being a bad driver, and which basically boils down to being anxious and insecure behind the wheel. You need to be mature. Knowing that you will arrive safely on time is all the security you need to respect your own car and to respect other road users. Just give yourself ample time to arrive safely at your destination. This last video shows a bad driver disrespecting other road users and moving dangerously into the fast lane at a slow speed and without signalling. I have already checked my rearview mirror and yielded to the faster moving car that is overtaking on the fast lane. The bad driver in front of me could have caused the same kind of crash that a 65-year-old taxi driver caused on New Year's Day when his taxi moved into the fast lane without signalling and without checking for other road users. Here is a reminder of that fatal incident. I cannot stress enough that Hong Kong has so many bad drivers. If you are guilty of any of these 5 signs, then you are a bad driver. Whenever I meet someone who tells me that they drive in Hong Kong, or whenever I see other drivers in person in car parks, I always think to myself that they are probably bad drivers. These are ordinary and normal looking people, just like you and me, but when they get behind the wheel of a car, then they are likely to be moving around in a deadly weapon. They need to be in control of their time management, emotions, physical health and mental health before they take to the roads. How many of us actually take self-safety checks before driving? We have heard some of the excuses given by bad drivers in that they are not feeling well on the day of their crash. Well, if you are not in a good state to drive, why did you drive in the first place? Just like drink driving, if you know you're going to be drinking alcohol, then don't drive. My wish for 2025 is for everyone to recognize how they are probably bad drivers and to take steps to become a good driver. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching and stay safe.